As talks continue in Ottawa over possible bail reform, earlier this week, lawyer Boris Bytensky appeared before a House of Commons Standing Committee on Justice and Human Rights on behalf of the Criminal Lawyers Association of Ontario to speak about Canada's bail system. So for more on what he said, we're joined now by lawyer Boris Bytensky. Boris, thanks for joining us. Appreciate this. I understand that on Monday, you acknowledged that, yes, the bail system is broken, but you said that it's broken in the fact that it releases too few people, not too many, which is not what we're hearing from not a lot of other people. So could you explain your side of the case?
Sure. Well, I mean, my general point is that we have a system of bail that does not function as quickly as it should. There's no doubt that there's a small group of individuals that arguably pose the biggest risk to the public, and we have every right to take those matters very seriously. But we need to administer our bail courts much more efficiently and effectively than we do to provide speedier justice. We have nearly 80% of the prison population in Ontario are people who have not been convicted of any crime. There are people who have been denied bail or are waiting for their bail hearings. And we need to take steps to address those massive problems, in addition perhaps to addressing some of the other issues that have been identified. And I want to focus on the entire system of bail, not just the occasional case that has raised the attention of the public.
Okay, so Boris, I'm curious about what it would actually take. Do we still have Boris? I realize there's some sort of interruption there on these live interviews when they're done over FaceTime or Skype can be a little difficult. Okay, so you're still here, Boris. Apologies for the interference on that. Is this come down to money, or is it resources? What is it that Canada needs to fix this system? Like you said, justice delayed is justice denied.
Yeah, resources are a big issue. I mean, one of the things that we talk about when we talk about public safety and the concerns of some that people are being released on bail or not being monitored. Police forces are saying they don't have the resource to adequately monitor people in the community. Well, if we jailed fewer people without bail or let them out faster, there could be substantial savings that could be realized. We can reinvest that money in our communities, but also reinvest that money in the police enforcement side. So there are many steps that we can take to both protect public safety and to ensure that those people who need speedier justice actually get it.
Boris, I apologize. I think our next guest is trying to get in keenly here, but I don't want to let you go because this is an interesting conversation. We've heard, of course, from police and also from politicians like Canada's premiers who say, especially when it comes to gun crimes, there needs to be a reverse onus there. What's the position of your association on that? Because I think you kind of alluded to the more serious crimes here.
Well, my view has always been that this is it's a public expression of taking something seriously, which the courts already take seriously. Creating more reverse onus provisions will sound like we're being tougher on people charged with gun crimes, but will have absolutely no impact on any particular bail hearing. The laws are already in place that will allow the courts to detain those individuals who pose an unacceptable risk to public safety. Those don't need to be changed. And anybody who thinks that people are getting out on bail for gun crimes because it's a Crown onus today as opposed to a reverse onus has never spent a day in bail court. When we get clients charged with those offenses, we have to convince the the courts to release them on bail, regardless of whose legal onus it is. So changing the onus on some crimes to make it a reverse onus, in my view, will have no impact on it.
And Boris, how difficult ultimately is it going to be repairing Canada's bail system? Because really, no matter which side you speak to, it sounds like this is certainly not going to be an easy fix.
The problem is that we demand a system of perfection when we shouldn't. We don't require, when we talk about cancer drugs that are 80% effective, we think that's wonderful. When we think about 80, 90% compliance with most things, we think that's success. When we talk about bail, we have an outlier case every now and again, and we think the whole system is broken. In reality, the system is safe. It does a very good job. And the number of people who commit these one-off type of crimes periodically should not bring the entire system of bail down to what it's being described as.
Okay, well, that is the treasurer of Criminal Lawyers Association of Ontario, Boris Bytensky, joining us now to talk more about Canada's bail system and the potential fixes it needs. Boris, really appreciate your insight this afternoon. Thanks for being here.
Thanks, Nick.